Hello, Loveland. I'm Mike Meldon, and this is your Loveland Weekly Podcast, brought to you by Gina Dubell-Smith, eXp Realty, and Stone Pillar Farm. A few weeks ago, my curiosity was piqued. I heard a few things going on with the school board that I really didn't know the full story of. I heard that a school board member resigned, then there was an appointment of a new member, a rule was broken at the meeting when that person was appointed, and then it had to go to a judge and a controversial appointment was made. These events that I heard of, and that many people started to hear of, ignited a whirlwind of whispers and speculation within Loveland. And it struck me that there might be many of you out there in the same position as me, that you're aware of some of the details, but uncertain about the bigger picture or how this all fit together and how this happened. So, to shed light on this intriguing situation, I've invited Alan Darnowsky of The Hub to provide some much-needed clarity on the situation. Here's our conversation. I hope you enjoy. Today is Monday, September 25th, 2023.
Levy passed 53 to 47%. At that point, and then next month, board member Kevin Doherty decided to resign. We don't know why. It's his personal reasons, but he decided to resign. So the remaining members of the board went through a very well thought out, well designed, and well executed process to determine a successor. They decided early on in the process that they weren't going to appoint anyone who was running for the 4-year term to the interim seat, because they said that would give this person a step up in the election, give them the advantage of incumbency. On July 17th, the board called for a special meeting, and then they went into emergency session. I'm sorry, executive session.
Right.
And at that time, they interviewed via phone all 11 candidates for the open seat. As you can imagine, it was a long process. It took a long time. When they came back into public session, the doors had automatically locked in the building. They didn't know that. So then they announced that their choice was Dr. Brad Goldie, who, not only has a PhD in the education field, but also has worked with the board extensively on many of their programs. On July 18th, they had their regular board meeting, and they announced, made the choice official. However, on July 17th, about 10 o'clock at night, someone tried to get into the building and wasn't able to get in.
During the executive session?
I believe the executive session was over by then.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
it was that night?
It was that night.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, the doors had locked automatically. I don't think the board had ever had a meeting that went that late. And
right.
My question is,
school doors are meant to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my question is, why is somebody coming to a meeting at 10 o'clock at night?
Right.
So, someone contacted Kurt Hartman, who is a well-known local attorney who has a history of suing school districts, and he issued, on the 18th, he issued a Freedom of Information Act requesting the videotapes from both inside and outside the building.
Okay.
When the board received this, they talked to the lawyer, and they said, well, if the doors were locked, then you're in violation of the Open Meetings Act.
Right.
And not only that, because you had both a special and a regular session of the board, you can't rescind the appointment and make it again. You've lost your opportunity to make the appointment.
Wow.
So at that point, the right to make the appointment went to Hamilton County Probate Judge Ralph Winkler. I don't know why. It's politics. There's funny things in the laws of every state, and this is one of the funny things in the laws of Ohio. On August 22nd, the remaining members of the board sent him an email laying out the reasons for excluding people who had already decided to run for the 4-year seat, and telling why they chose Dr. Goldie. Another couple weeks goes by, we get after Labor Day, and then Judge Winkler announces his decision. And he totally ignored what the elected representatives of the Loveland School District chose, and he appointed Linda Cecil to the open seat.
And this is my question, is the rule isn't open door during executive.
No, but they came back into a public session to announce the selection
they did come
of
back.
Dr. Goldie.
Okay, and was anybody there?
I wasn't.
There were, though, right?
Yeah, I believe there were, yes.
And somebody might have tried to come back, and that's the whole issue.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, it might have been one of the applicants because they were specifically told to stay away from the meeting.
Gotcha. And then wanted to come back to see if they were the one that possibly was chosen.
Maybe.
And do we know, again, and these are questions that I'm thinking, this is why I wanted to clear some of these things up.
Right.
These are questions that people might have. Do we know that all doors were locked? Do we know that it was just certain doors?
I believe it was all doors because they asked for the video of all interior and exterior cameras.
Gosh. And, and I wonder if the cameras show, again, just playing devil's advocate, I'm sure the cameras don't show anyone locking the doors in that time.
No, it was automatic.
It's automatic, and that's one of the detriments.
One of the safety features of a school building.
Exactly. And rules are rules.
Yeah.
Nobody's fighting the rules.
Oh,
it's
no,
just,
we're not saying
exactly.
We're not saying that that it was. We were saying what everything is technically driven by law.
Exactly. Yep. And nobody's arguing with that.
No.
I think the problem is that we'll go on to who Judge Winkler picked, and that seems to be the biggest issue.
Linda Cecil was the appointment. She is one of the leaders of The Voice.
Mm-hmm.
The Voice, and basically her only educational credits are organizing against the levy and advocating against the levy, against our schools.
Levy after levy.
Levy after levy, year after year. She is also endorsed by, let me see if I can get the name right. It's Protect Children Ohio, right? Protect Ohio.
I think that the endorsement.
No, I think it's Protect Children Ohio.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, are they associated with Moms for Liberty? We don't know. We don't have the facilities to dig that deeply.
Great.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were, and I wouldn't be surprised if, I guess another question is who paid Hartman's legal fees.
Right.
Because he's an expensive attorney.
Well, they are. The Voice technically is their own PAC, right?
They're not a PAC. They're a Facebook group, right?
Well, no.
They have a PAC. Okay.
They do have a PAC.
Fighting levies, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason I found out about this was because they did an anonymous post saying with a statement of this is before she was appointed that they were supporting Cecil and another candidate, I believe.
Yeah, Robert Van Noy.
Right. And it was an anonymous post. And so I thought it was this wasn't honestly, this was coming from a place not of a troll. I honestly thought it was interesting that a post of an anonymous was saying this is our choice. Who listens to anonymous?
Right.
Stand behind your choice. So I went through some questioning on Facebook and asked, so who are we? Who's anonymous? And they said we are the committee. And that's when I found out it was a PAC because I did not realize it was a PAC either. And committee PACs are allowed to be anonymous. I've never heard of one being anonymous.
What's the point?
Why be anonymous? Why not show your face? They're so that really it surprised me. They are allowed to do it. It is legal. But I did question it. I said, why are you putting this out there? Why would people trust a group of people where we don't know their background, we don't know their motives, and I thought it was silly, and they just thought that I was being a troll, asking crazy questions, And for a group that's all about transparency, they kicked me out. So I was now blocked from their group. And it's a shame. I think that we could use two sides of every argument.
Right.
That's when my first podcast here was to listen to both sides. I'm very biased. I'm a school teacher, so I'm very much for schools. I have 3 kids in the district. I believe education, we should be actually throwing money at it. So I am biased, but I think that it's always good for society to have two sides. And when one side is literally just closing their doors, not listening, and hiding, it's an issue. So now we have Linda here. What do we expect to see? What?
Well, I guess what we're afraid of,
better,
is getting a Darby Boddy type performance.
Right.
I mean, look at the damage that Darby Boddy has wreaked upon the Lakota School District. Their superintendent quit.
Mm-hmm.
They started a process to hire a new superintendent. They got 3 finalists, and the board looked at them and said, nah, we don't want any of these guys. They can't. Why would somebody who has choices want to work in a school district where there's that much chaos?
Right.
And now finally, she and one of her running mates from 2021 are in court. He's seeking a protection order against her, and she's fighting back, and it's just chaos. You have the same thing in Forest Hills.
Right.
Forest Hills, I mean, it's 4 against 1. They snuck up on us in 2021. Milford, you only have 2, but again, I have friends on the Milford School Board, and they tell me it's chaos there. So if you want, you can have open discussion in the school board. You can disagree, but you're responsible for the school district. And if all you're trying to do is tear down the school district, get rid of public education as we know it, and put everybody in these private schools with their vouchers, don't elect these people.
Right.
You can elect people with different views. That's fine. But I mean, she's just so far out of the norm that, frankly, people in Loveland are scared of what she can do.
I'm very involved with Loveland City politics too. I stay close to that, and one of the things that's always scared me, and I talk to them about, is, we are a small town, and so far we've been able to keep national ideologies, big time differences out.
Right.
We saw this problem in Mason with their city council. They had a national agenda group come in, pay money. Some people supported that. It ripped their town apart. We're seeing different school boards go through this, like you just mentioned.
Right, and there's big money behind these people.
Big money. And she's getting, after every meeting, she's being prepped. You can see, I watch these meetings.
Okay.
And you see the prep go in.
Right.
You can tell that, I've got to go through my notes, and this is what, this is an outsider attacking us.
Yes.
And that's the scariest part. And I don't want it to leak into Loveland in any which way. And I think that's what we're all scared of, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're proud of our schools. I'll be honest, I've never had a child in the Loveland schools. But I still support not every levy. There were 2 that I didn't vote for, and it's because it's part of our community. As I said in the levy fight, strong schools build a strong community, and that's how I feel connected to Loveland. The schools, my neighbors' kids go to the schools. It helps build a strong community, and also I like the bike trail and the restaurants downtown.
Right, it is. It's all of it. It does make for a strong community, and I don't know another place like this place where it the homecoming parade. There's nothing else like that. It brings us together, and to see, like I said, communities are divided in many places and always have been over levies, but not like this. Okay. So you want to speak at all about Judge Winkler's responses? Right.
He won't even say what
Yeah.
he said.
Right.
He just says, I chose Linda Cecil because she was the best qualified. And I guess I can't say this on the air, can I?
Yeah, it's
I say,
BS.
Yeah, it's BS.
Come on.
I mean, it's not only will she not work for the board, she doesn't have the educational background. And besides Dr. Goldie, who has a PhD, we had, and one of his criteria was he wanted someone who cared enough to run for a 4-year term. Well, even of the people who ran for 4-year terms, I mean, we had one guy who's an educational consultant. He would have been a better choice. And then, so he did keep up an email chain with the first person who contacted him, and she was asking more about the process. And then the second person who said, why did you appoint Linda Cecil? I mean, she said a lot of very uncomplimentary things about Linda that I'm not going to repeat. You can go out and look at the post in the Hub or on my Facebook page, or there are many other pages. I share a lot with other Facebook pages. And he basically wrote back and said, hey, I answered these questions already. Stop bothering me.
Right. It's a big deal to us.
Yeah. But he doesn't care. I mean, I did go to his Facebook page, and he did have one connection with Loveland, a gym over by the library. Gotcha. But he's a Hamilton County probate judge. The Winkler family, I don't know where he lives, but I doubt if he lives in Loveland. And I just told him he's arrogant for just disregarding what the board had come up with and picking his own choice. And and he's known as a fairly extreme right-wing judge. Kurt Hartman is known as being very extreme, and Linda Cecil is being known as very extreme right-wing.
So it fits.
It's basically, as Dr. Goldie got very upset, and he said, I don't post on social media very often, but you took a nonpartisan process and injected politics into it.
Yeah.
So like you said, it's an outsider coming in and trying to rig our elections.
And the reason I wanted to have this conversation, I think a lot of people are seeing, bits of this online, don't know the whole story like you just explained. Right. But the good news is if people get out and vote.
Yes.
She's only appointed until December, correct?
Actually, it's I think the end of the year. I think December 4th is when the new term starts for City Council. I'm not sure about school board.
Okay. So we got to get out and vote.
Got to get out and vote, and we're asking people to vote for Lynn Mangan and Christina Jaranek.
Hello, it's Elise Knapshaper with another Loveland High School Weekly Update. This week we're kind of just winding down from homecoming week, nothing too interesting. There are a few games at home this week: boys golf, girls volleyball, and 2 boys soccer matches. And this week football is away at Turpin.
Looking ahead in Loveland, the Loveland Sims Community Firefighters Association will hold its annual Kid Fest on Saturday, October 7th from 2 to 4 p.m. This is a free event to be held at the East Loveland Nature Preserve. There will be inflatables, games, trick-or-treating, hot dogs, drinks, and fun events for the kids of all ages. Is it time to replace your old mattress? Look no further. Join us at the 7th Annual Mattress Fundraiser hosted by the Loveland Girls Basketball and Volleyball teams. Mark your calendar for Sunday, October 8th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Loveland High School. They're transforming the school into a mattress showroom with 30 different mattress styles in all sizes for you to try. And that's not all. They will have adjustable power bases, luxury pillows, foundations, mattress protectors, and premium sheets available too. They offer top quality brands with full factory warranties, all made to order and priced below retail. But here's the best part. Each purchase benefits the Loveland School's girls basketball and volleyball teams. So don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to upgrade your sleep while supporting our local athletes. We have something truly special here in Loveland. Thank you for listening, and have a great week. This episode was produced and engineered by On Brand Studios and recorded at Grailville, a magical place here locally like no other. Please note that the opinions expressed in the podcast do not necessarily represent the views of our sponsors or organization.